Take That are an English pop group consisting of Gary Barlow, Howard Donald, Jason Orange, Mark Owen and Robbie Williams. Barlow acts as the lead singer and primary songwriter. In total, the group have had 27 top 40 singles and 16 top 5 singles in the United Kingdom alone, 11 of which have reached number 1, as well as having 7 number 1 albums. Internationally, the band have had 54 number 1 hits and 35 number 1 albums. Take That's tunes and soulful ballads dominated the UK charts in the first half of the 1990s, winning many BRIT Awards while also spawning 2 of the best-selling albums of the decade with Everything Changes and their greatest hits album. Robbie Williams left the band in 1995 while the 4 remaining members completed their world tour and released a final single before splitting up in 1996. After filming a 2005 documentary about the group and releasing a new greatest hits album, a 4-piece Take That without Williams officially announced a 2006 reunion tour around the UK, entitled The Ultimate Tour. On May 9, 2006, it was announced that the group was set to record new material together once again. Their 4th studio album, Beautiful World, was released in 2006 and was followed up with A Circus, in 2008. The group achieved new success as a 4-piece, scoring a string of chart hits across the UK and Europe while taking the number of records sold to 45 million worldwide. Williams rejoined Take That in 2010 for the band's 6th studio album, Progress. It was released on November 15 of that year and became the fastest-selling album of the 21st century and the second fastest-selling album in British history, whilst also making it the first album of new material to feature Take That's original lineup since their 1995 album, Nobody Else. Since 2011, Take That have set the new record for the fastest-selling tour of all time in the UK with Progress Live, beating the previous record set by their Circus Live tour in 2009, won the BRIT Award for Best British Group, and were named as Amazon's top-selling music artist of all time. In 2012, the band were announced by Forbes as the 5th highest-earning music stars in the world. In the same year, the official charts company revealed the biggest-selling singles artists in British music chart history with Take That currently placed at 15th overall, making them the most successful boy band in UK chart history. History, 1989 Euro 1993, Formation and Take That and Party. In 1989, Manchester-based Nigel Martin Smith sought to create a British male vocal singing group modelled after New Kids on the Block. Martin Smith's vision, however, was a teen-orientated group that would aim across more than one demographic segment of the music industry. Martin Smith was introduced to young singer-songwriter Gary Barlow, who had been performing in clubs since the age of 15. Impressed with Barlow's catalogue of self-written material, Martin Smith decided to build his new-look boy band around Barlow's musical abilities. A campaign to audition young men with abilities in dancing and singing followed and took place in Manchester and other surrounding cities in 1990. At 22, Howard Donald was one of the oldest to audition, but he was chosen after he got time off work as a vehicle painter to continue the process. Prior to auditioning, Jason Orange had appeared as a breakdancer on the popular television program The Hit Man and Her. Martin Smith also selected 18-year-old bank employee Mark Owen and finally 16-year-old Robbie Williams to round out the group, which initially went by the name Kick It. Take That's first TV appearance was on The Hit Man and Her in 1990, where they performed Barlow's self-written, unreleased song, My Kind of Girl. They later appeared a second time to perform Waiting Around, which would become the B-side for the first single, Do What You Like. Promises, as Once You've Tasted Love were also released as singles but were minor hits in the UK. Take That initially worked the same territory as their American counterparts, singing watered-down New Jack R&B, urban soul, and mainstream pop. However, they worked their way toward high-energy dance music, while also pursuing an adult contemporary ballad direction. As they aimed to break into the mainstream music industry, they worked a manner of small clubs, schools and events across the country, building up a fan base as they traveled to gigs constantly for months. Take That's breakthrough single was a cover of the 1975 Tavares hit It Only Takes a Minute, which peaked at number 7 on the UK singles chart. This success was followed by I Found Heaven, then by the first Barlow ballad A Million Love Songs, which also reached number 7. Their cover of the Barry Manilow hit Could It Be Magic gave them one of their biggest hits to date, peaking at number 3 in the UK. Their first album, Take That and Party, was released in 1992, and included all the hit singles to date. 1993 A Euro 95, Everything Changes, Nobody Else, and Superstardom. 1993 saw the release of Everything Changes, based on Barlow's original material. It peaked at number 1 in the UK and spawned 6 singles, with 4 being consecutive UK number 1 singles. A Euro their first number 1 Pray, Relight My Fire, Babe, and the title track Everything Changes. The lead single, Why Can't I Wake Up With You had narrowly missed the top spot in the UK, peaking at number 2, and the 6th and final single Love Ain't Here Anymore taken from the album reached number 3 on the UK charts. Everything Changes saw the band gain international success, with the album being nominated for the 1994 Mercury Prize, but it failed to crack the US market, where an exclusive remix of Love Ain't Here Anymore gained little success. By 1994, Take That had become radio and television stars across Europe and Asia, but it was not until 1995 that they did their first world tour. It was during the years 1993 a Euro 95 that the band fronted scores of magazine covers ranging from smash hits to GQ, becoming mass merchandised on all sorts of paraphernalia ranging from picture books, to posters, stickers, their own dolls, jewelry, caps, t-shirts, toothbrushes, and even had their own annuals released. The band had also developed a large female teenage fan base at the time. During this time, they performed at numerous music awards shows and chart shows such as the BRIT Awards and Top of the Pops, also winning the Best Live Act award in 1995 at the MTV Europe Music Awards, having been renowned for their breakdance routines, high energy and creative tour productions. In 1995, Take That released their third studio album Nobody Else, again based on Barlow's own material, which reached number 1 in the UK and across Europe, capturing new audiences annually, with Take That also able to make inroads in the adult audience in Britain through Barlow's melodic, sensitive ballads. For nearly 5 years, Take That's popularity was unsurpassed in Britain. The release of the first single from the album, Sure, achieved yet another number 1 in the UK charts. It was not until their second release from that album, however, that they would experience what would become their biggest hit single, Back for Good, which reached number 1 in 31 countries around the globe and to date has been covered 89 times the world over. It was also their first US hit, where it reached number 7, and at the time was the highest ever charting single by a British boy band in the US. The song was initially unveiled for the first time by a live performance while at the 1995 BRIT Awards, and based on the reception of that performance, the record pre-sold more records than expected and forced the record label to bring the release date forward by an unprecedented 6 weeks. The album was also noted for its cover, which was a parody of the famed cover of the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band cover sleeve. 1995 a Euro 96, Robbie Williams' departure, breakup and greatest hits. Robbie Williams' drug abuse had escalated to a near drug overdose the night before the group was scheduled to perform at the MTV Europe Music Awards in 1994. In July 1995, Williams was photographed by the press partying with Oasis at Glastonbury Festival, which was the month the band offering him an ultimatum, where he was to adhere to the band's responsibilities or to leave before their scheduled world tour. Williams chose the latter. Unaffected by the loss of Williams, Take That continued to promote Nobody Else as a 4-piece, scoring a further hit single with Barlow's Never Forget, went to America and completing the Nobody Else tour in late 1995. On February 13, 1996, Take That formally announced that they were disbanding. This was followed by the Greatest Hits compilation in 1996, which contained a new recording, a cover of the Bee Gees' How Deep Is Your Love. The single went on to become what was to be the band's final UK number 1 until their 2006 comeback a decade later. Take That gave what was thought to be their final performance in April 1996 at Amsterdam. Following the band's announcement, millions of their fans were distraught around the world, and in the UK alone, teenage girls threatened suicide and were seen lining streets in tears, to the point that telephone hotlines were set up by the government to deal with counseling them. After the band broke up, highly respected music figures such as Elton John noted that Take That were different from other boy bands before and after them, in that they wrote their own material through Gary Barlow, the only boy band member who won an Ivor Novello Award during his time in a boy band. Take That had also left a legacy of being immaculate performers with a very high work ethic, causing them to be voted in as the greatest boy band of all time. 2005 08, Never Forget, Reunion Tour and Beautiful World. On November 14, 2005, Never Forget, The Ultimate Collection, a new compilation of their hit singles including a new previously unreleased song, also achieved great success and peaked at number 2 on UK charts, selling over 2.1 million copies in the UK alone. The new song Today I've Lost You was originally written by Gary Barlow as the follow-up to Back for Good, but was never recorded. On November 16, 2005, the group got back together for the ITV documentary Take That, for the Record, in which they aired their views over their fame, success, the split and what the post-Williams lineup had done since. On November 25, 2005, there was an official press conference by the band announcing that the post-Robbie Williams lineup were going to tour in 2006. The tour, entitled Ultimate Tour, ran from April to June 2006. The tour featured a guest appearance by British soul singer Beverly Knight, who replaced Lulu's vocals on the song Relight My Fire. Although Lulu did appear during the stadium shows on Relight My Fire, and Never Forget. The American female ensemble Pussycat Dolls supported the group at their Dublin concert, and the Soulja Babes supported the group on the final 5 dates of the stadium leg. On May 9, 2006, Take That returned to the recorded music scene after more than 10 years of absence, signing with Polydor Records in a deal reportedly worth £3 a million. The band's comeback album, Beautiful World, entered the UK album chart at number 1 and, as of June 2009, has sold over 2.8 million copies in the UK. It is the 35th best-selling album in UK music history. In the album Beautiful World, all 4 members of the band had the opportunity to sing lead vocals. Unlike the band's earlier works, where the majority of their material was written by Gary Barlow, who received a sole credit, all 4 band members are credited as co-writers, regardless of whether they contributed to the writing process or not. The comeback single, Patience, was released on November 20, 2006, with a special event launching it on November 5. On November 26, Patience hit number 1 in the UK in its second week of chart entry, making it the group's 9th number 1 and stayed there for 4 weeks. Take That also accompanied eventual winner Leona Lewis in a live version of A Million Love Songs in the final of the X Factor on December 16, 2006. The week after Take That's comeback album Beautiful World was released, it was announced that Take That had become the first artists ever to top the UK official single and album charts, along with a download single, download album and DVD charts in the same week, as well as topping the radio charts. The video for the number 1 hit single Shine, the follow-up to Patience, premiered on January 25, 2007 on Channel 4, ahead of its release on February 26, 2007. The band's success continued on February 14, 2007 when Take That performed live at the BRIT Awards ceremony at Earl's Court. Their single Patience won the Best British Single category. The third single taken from Beautiful World was I'd Wait for Life, released on June 18, 2007 in the UK. The single reached 17 in the UK singles chart. This was due to lack of promotion, as the band decided to take a pre-tour break rather than do any promotion for the single. Beautiful World was the 4th biggest-selling album of 2007. It was announced at the start of 2007 that Take That signed a record deal with American label Interscope, and would also release their album in Canada. Starting on October 11, 2007, Take That began their Beautiful World Tour 2007 in Belfast. The tour included 49 shows throughout Europe and the UK and ended in Manchester on December 23, 2007. The band received 4 nominations at the 2008 BRIT Awards. Nominated for Best British Group, Best British Single, Best British Album and Best Live Act, They took home the Best Live Act and the Best British Single awards. 2008 €09, The Circus. Greatest Day, the first single from the album The Circus, made its radio premiere on October 13, 2008 and it was released on November 24. It debuted at number 1 in the UK singles chart on November 30, 2008. An album launch party for The Circus was held in Paris on December 2. Prior to the official release of Take That's upcoming album The Circus, it was revealed that the album had broken all pre-order records and had become the most pre-ordered album of all time. On its first day of release The Circus sold 133,000 copies, and after 4 days on sale it sold 306,000 copies, making The Circus the fastest-selling album of the year. The album reached number 1 on the UK album charts on December 7, 2008 with total first-week sales of 432,490, the third highest opening sales week in UK history. On October 28, 2008, on the Radio 1 Chris Moyles show, it was announced that Take That would be touring again in June-July 2009, covering the UK and Ireland. Tickets for the Take That present, The Circus Live Tour went on sale on October 31. The promoters, SJM, have said that the band's tour is the fastest-selling in UK history. On May 22, 2008, Barlow and Donald attended the 2008 Ivor Novello Awards where Take That won the award for Most Performed Work with their single Shine. Take That won the Sony Ericsson Tour of the Year award at the Vodafone Music Awards on September 18, 2008. They were unable to attend as they were in LA finishing off The Circus. They did send a video link message, which was shown at the awards. On November 22, 2008, Take That appeared on TV show The X Factor where the finalists performed some of their greatest hits. The band also performed on Children in Need 2008, singing their new single, Greatest Day, before donating a £250,000 to the charity from their Marks and Spencer fee. The band were also voted the greatest boy band of all time, reflecting their ongoing marketability and success in the pop arena, even after 2 decades. The band were nominated for 1 BRIT Award in the category Best Group and performed Greatest Day at the 2009 BRIT Awards ceremony. Up All Night, the second single from The Circus, was released on March 2, 2009, and peaked at number 14 on the UK singles chart, despite heavy airplay. In Germany and Australia, The Garden was released as the second single instead. On May 7, 2009, Take That's official website confirmed that the third single from The Circus would be Said It All, which was released on June 15, 2009, peaking at number 9 on the UK singles chart. The video premiered on GMTV on May 8, 2009. It features all 4 band members dressed up as vintage circus clowns, which tied in with their forthcoming Take That present, The Circus Live Tour. Take That started their Circus Live Tour at the Stadium of Light on June 5, 2009 in Sunderland and ended at the Wembley Stadium in London on July 5, 2009, which over 80,000 people attended. This tour quickly became the fastest-selling of all time, breaking all records by selling all of their 650,000 tickets in less than 4.5 hours. In November 2009 Take That released the official DVD of their Circus Tour, which became the fastest-selling music DVD of all time in the UK on its first day of release and has not left the top 10 since its release. This overtook the previous record sales holder, which was Take That's Beautiful World Live Tour and stayed at the number 1 spot for 8 weeks. The following week Take That released their first live album, The Greatest Day Take That present, The Circus Live, which sold 98,000 copies on its first day of release and was certified platinum in December 2009. Hold Up a Light was released as the 5th and final single from The Circus to radio stations and as a digital download to promote the release of the live album. 2010 €11, Progress and Robbie Williams return. On June 7, 2010, the news broke of a single called Shame, which had been written by Barlow and Williams and would feature the vocals of both artists. This was the first time the pair had worked together since 1995 and it would appear on the second Greatest Hits collection of Williams. Heart and I, another track from the same album, was also co-written by Williams and Barlow. the single Shame peaked at number 2 on the UK singles chart while also achieving success throughout Europe, charting in over 19 countries. After working with the band on new material in Los Angeles, on July 15, 2010 Robbie Williams announced he was returning to Take That. After months of working together, assembling new songs for a new album and even debating a band name change to the English, a joint statement between Williams and the group read, "The rumors are true. Take That, the original lineup, have written and recorded a new album for release later this year." The statement went on to say, following months of speculation, Gary Barlow, Howard Donald, Jason Orange, Mark Owen and Robbie Williams confirmed they have been recording a new studio album as a 5-piece, which they will release in November. The lead single from Take That's album Progress was announced as The Flood, and was released November 7 as a digital download, and on November 8 as a physical copy, with the album released a week later on November 15. The single peaked at number 2 in the UK singles charts and to date has sold over 500,000 copies in the UK alone. The single also achieved success across Europe, charting inside the top 10 in 10 countries while also charting in another 9 countries whilst also being nominated for an Ivor Novello Award for Best Work. On October 26 the band announced that they would be embarking on a huge UK stadium tour entitled Progress Live, starting in Sunderland on May 27, and finishing with a record-breaking 8 nights at London's Wembley Stadium in July 2011. It was also announced that Williams would perform hit singles from his solo career during the tour. The band then played at some of the biggest venues across Europe for the second leg of the tour. The phenomenal demand for tickets across the country led to the websites of all the major UK ticket suppliers either crashing or considerably slowing for hours on end. The demand and sheer volume of fans also created problems for the UK telephone network. Take That's Progress Live also broke all records for ticket sales, selling over 1.1 million tickets in one day, smashing the previous box office record set by Take That's Circus Tour in 2008. On the first day of release, Progress became the fastest-selling album of the century, with 235,000 copies sold in just one day. The album reached number 1 in the UK, selling around 520,000 copies in its first week, becoming the second fastest-selling album in history. After the release of Progress, it was announced that Take That had become Amazon UK's top-selling music artist of all time. The album retained the number 1 spot for 6 consecutive weeks in the UK since its release, selling 2.8 million copies in the UK alone and becoming the best-selling album of 2010. Progress also achieved success across Europe, where it debuted at number 1 in Ireland, Greece, Germany and Denmark and the European Top 100 Albums chart. It also debuted inside the top 10 of the charts in Austria, Italy, the Netherlands, Sweden, and Switzerland. Kids was announced as the second single from Progress. It was released February 21, 2011 and charted well across Europe. The band performed the song Live at the 2011 BRIT Awards hosted at the O2 Arena, where they won a BRIT for Best British Group and were nominated for Best British Album. Their performance of Kids, praised by critics, involved a highly choreographed routine featuring dancers dressed in police-styled riot gear bearing the Take That symbol on the uniform and shields. On May 19, 2011, Take That announced a new EP entitled Progressed, which contained 8 tracks written by the band since they had reunited as a 5-piece. It was packaged alongside the album Progress and returned the band to number 1 in the UK album chart the week after it was released on June 13, 2011. Take That announced that the Progress Live tour would be released worldwide as their second live album to date and would also be released on home media formats across the UK and Europe on November 21, 2011. On the first 2 days on sale, the tour DVD was reported to be selling twice as much as the entire music DVD chart combined. The DVD debuted at number 1 on the UK Music Video Top 40 in its first week on release and sold over 200,000 copies in 2 weeks of release in the UK alone. Take That's efforts were recognised further when they were awarded Virgin Media's Best Live Act of 2012. 2011 a Euro 14, hiatus. On October 4, 2011, it was announced that the 5-piece Take That were to take a hiatus after the completion of the European leg of the Progress Tour. with Barlow continuing his role as a judge on The X Factor and Williams recording new solo material. Whilst on this hiatus, Take That were presented with an Ivor Novello Award for their outstanding contribution to British music in May 2012. In August 2012, Take That performed at the closing ceremony of the 2012 Summer Olympics, despite Barlow having announced having had a stillborn daughter in the previous week. The performance earned him international praise for appearing live so soon after the tragedy. Williams was due to perform with the band but dropped out due to his wife giving birth at around the same time, and thus the group performed as a four-piece. In November 2012, Take That reunited to perform Never Forget as a five-piece at the Music Industry Trust Awards, for the first time since their record-breaking Progress Live tour in 2011. 2014 A Euro-Present, seventh studio album. In May 2013, Owen announced that Take That will begin recording their seventh studio album in 2014. On January 14, 2014, Donald and Barlow both tweeted that Take That had entered the studio to begin recording the album, but it is not yet clear if Williams is present at these recording sessions. Gary has also revealed the album is set for a probable Christmas 2014 release. On April 28, 2014, Williams announced on Twitter he is to become a father for a second time, and consequently suggested he would be unable to join Take That on their album and tour. On May 10, 2014, it was reported that 3 members of the group could face a tax bill amounting to millions after a court tribunal ruled that schemes they put money into had instead been set up for tax avoidance purposes. Solo careers. In other media, in April 2006, EMI licensed the band's songs to be used in the musical Never Forget, a musical based on songs of the band from the 1990s. Take That posted and then later removed a statement on their website distancing themselves from it. Take That wrote and recorded the theme song Rule the World for the film Stardust, directed by Matthew Vaughn, which was released in cinemas across the globe in October 2007. In 2007, their song Back for Good was used as part of the soundtrack for popular Korean drama The First Shop of Coffee Prince. Take That presented their own TV show Take That Come to Town, a variety show in which they performed some of their biggest hits. The show also featured comedy sketches with one of Peter Kay's alter egos, Geraldine McQueen. It aired on December 7, 2008 on ITV1. Sony launched their first Take That video game with SingStar Take That in 2009 for the PlayStation 3 system. In November 2010, ITV aired Take That, Look Back, Don't Stare, a black-and-white documentary which focused on the band working together for the first time in 15 years. Through a series of interviews, the band looked back at their achievements while also looking forward to what the future holds for them. On November 18, 2010, Williams and Barlow appeared together live for the first time on the Pop Stars program in Germany singing their hit Shame. In 2011, Take That's song Love Love was chosen as the theme song for the film X-Men, First Class, and later, When We Were Young was chosen as the main theme for the Three Musketeers movie. Both tracks come off the EP Progressed. Members: Gary Barlow, Howard Donald, Jason Orange, Mark Owen, Robbie Williams. Awards and nominations, discography. Studio albums: Take That and Party, Everything Changes, Nobody Else, Beautiful World, The Circus, Progress, TBA. See also, List of best-selling boys bands, references. External links, media related to Take That at Wikimedia Commons, official website, Chinese fan site.